Victims of narcissistic abuse often are confused when they're in a bad situation and think that they're the problem. This isn't surprising because they've been told this by their partner. And then they often are the ones who do the most work trying to save the relationship. They're the ones who take on the responsibility and emotional load for what's going on and for everything going wrong in this relationship. Sometimes things get so bad for victims that they lash out themselves and do irrational things. We call this reactive abuse. Hi, I'm Dr. Kerry Kerr McAvoy, a narcissistic abuse survivor and a mental health professional with over 20 years of counseling. In this channel, we deal with all sorts of things related to healthy as well as unhealthy relationships. I'm about to read a letter that could be an example of reactive abuse, or maybe it's an example of something else. Let's talk about it as I review the situation. First, I'm going to read the letter. It comes from a viewer that I'm going to refer to as P, who presents this problem, and it reads: My friend's husband cheated with 2 co-workers at 2 different times during the course of my friend and his marriage. Both of these relationships were long-distance affairs, primarily emotional, but then they got sexual. He blamed it on 2 reasons. First, it was after the birth of the kids, and he lost interest in her for a few months, and that's when the first affair happened. Second was when he faced a huge professional debacle. He stopped both affairs, but only after his wife discovered them with evidence. He took to therapy and has been working hard. My friend, on the other hand, is furious and has retaliated with revenge cheating. She started her own sets of affairs but kept her boundaries with no intercourse. She insists that she's better than her husband because of that. Her affairs haven't been found out, and they're both emotional and physical but not sexual, and there's been 5 affair partners. My friend still manages to do everything for the family while keeping this secret life. She's always been jealous of the husband's past girlfriends and of his affairs, which has just now aggravated her further. The wife has been proud of her Puritan past because she had no boyfriends before marriage and has used this past as a way to taunt her husband initially. Is my friend showing signs of narcissism? So before I get into the guts of this letter, I'd like to first talk about what happens when there's been cheating. And I'm going to address this from both a standpoint of non-toxic relationships as well as when it happens in toxic relationships. Affairs are always experienced as a massive betrayal because it's a breach of a special alliance that has been declared between 2 people. They've made a promise for monogamy. So it violates a sacred space that was supposed to be exclusive. And this betrayal is experienced by the one hurt as a massive ego wound in the form of rejection and abandonment. On top of this, the trust that was there between them has now been broken, and also along with a loss of loyalty. Cheating always damages the betrayed partner's self-confidence because they often feel like it's their fault for making it happen, and they also get messages that they've not been good enough. And on top of that, cheating always requires some form of deception and usually includes gaslighting, denial, and invalidation. And the betrayed partner often senses something's wrong, but dismisses their gut instinct as just simply overreactions, which then leads them to distrust themselves and their perception of reality. And cheating usually is used as a distraction. We use it as a way to avoid things that are happening at home. We're running away from our problems. It's interesting that we get the reasons why the cheating occurred as if these are justifiable, but really they just serve as excuses. The first happened around pregnancy, and the second was around a career crisis. There's never a good reason for bad behavior. It actually suggests the way we handle stress. And in this situation, this man shows that he runs away from difficult things by using cheating as a distraction. And regardless of why one does it, it's not less damaging to the partner. And it would particularly be extremely harmful around the pregnancy. Not that around the professional career crisis is good reason either, but with pregnancy, the wife is sacrificing her body, her autonomy, her liberties and freedoms, and time in order to give the 2 of them a family. And he responds to this difficulty by cheating? That would be really, really upsetting. And it's interesting that he doesn't just stop this bad behavior on his own initiative. It's only after he's confronted with evidence, which means she had to become suspicious, go hunting for it, and then find it, and then confront him, and then he owns up. Maybe even probably not the first time, but then he owns up to it. I find it intriguing that the letter writer, P, claims this man's working hard, and I would like to know if that's actually real. A lot of people say they are working hard of it, but they don't show real remorse or accountability. They don't put in the work day after day, week after week, and month after month to rebuild trust by creating space for the emotional pain he's created in his partner or they've created in their partner. I'd want to know, is this person being patient and supportive for her when she's being triggered or insecure because he's made the mess? Is he doing the hard work of rebuilding her damaged self-esteem? Is he doing the hard work of rebuilding trust by showing up day after day when he says he is going to and doing the things he says he's going to do? And I'm not surprised she's angry. And there's two possible sources for that. First, he may not actually be doing the hard work that he says he's doing. He's just putting in enough lip service that it looks good, but the problems in the relationship still exist. And that lack of resolution is leaving her enraged. Or it could be that he is doing the hard work, but the pain that she's experienced is so great that she can't let it go, and now she's nursing her anger. It's interesting, though, that she's used this anger to then act out through retaliatory cheating, but she defines it as more ethical because she has physical limitations, as if cheating somehow has boundaries because she's put some curbs around it by not having penetrative sex. To me, this is just ridiculous because any kind of emotional or physical relationship outside of a relationship, the bond two people have, is cheating and is a breach. So there's no good excuse. That to me, that's just a way for her to justify her own decisions and her own acting out. We do retaliatory cheating sometimes as a way to give the partner who's wounded us a taste of their own medicine. But I want to warn you, that's not going to work out the way that you hope because, one, toxic people don't see their behavior as bad and they write it off. They've excused it. So they're going to underplay what they've done, but they're going to magnify what you do. And that will then give them more reasons to be retaliatory and hurtful to you. So you actually are increasing the danger. So please be very careful about that. But the woman's acting out in this letter strikes me as retaliatory, an attempt to level the playing field between the two of them to get him back for wounding her. But it's also ego boosting. I sense she likes being coveted and fawned over, and she may be using that as a way to compensate for her damaged self-esteem. And I also think she finds it exciting because she used the word taunt, as if she got away with it and now she's bragging about it. So let's circle back to the question P poses with this letter. Is her friend a narcissist? Well, there's not really enough to go on, but I do think that what she's doing is extremely dangerous behavior that's likely going to lead to getting caught. And she's not working on the problem of the relationship. Instead, she's using her acting out as a way to escape a bad situation. Is it reactive abuse? In this situation, I don't think it is. So what do you think? Is this woman a narcissist? Or is this an example of reactive abuse? Drop me a comment and let me know. Maybe you have a situation of your own or a situation of a friend's that you would like to have me address in the same way. If so, please send it to hello@Kerry McAvoy, Ph.D. and the subject line, please put, Dear Dr. Kerry. And remember, big hugs, stay strong and safe.